When I was in Pulaski early in my time there, the general manager of the organization asked me if I wanted to go along with her to a radio interview because I was the media relations intern and she thought that that was something that I might want to be a part of. So one day I went to the ballpark a little early and met her, and we went over to the radio studio, and I was going to be there and just sit in and watch her while she did her interview. And following the interview, I had the chance to talk to the radio host who spoke with her and got to know him a little bit and talked to him a little bit about my previous broadcasting experience. Of course, he's a broadcaster, and in addition to the radio show that he does, he also is going to be our road radio broadcaster and do all the road Pulaski Yankees games. So after talking to him for a few minutes, he actually invited me on to the radio anytime during one of his broadcasts. So I went on with him a couple weeks later and did pretty well. We worked well, and I continued, did a few more broadcasts with him throughout the season, which I think was really nice. I was able to promote the team as well as what was happening at the ballpark and just fill the fans in on some of the players. Me hanging out around the ballpark all day, I get to watch them take batting practice and got to know them a little bit. So I got to provide some inside information. So I think that was really something I took a lot of pride in, was being able to be a good spokesperson for the organization on the radio. In the past, I've been able to manage deadlines pretty well, and that goes back to my time in Pulaski once again. One of my major responsibilities, of course, was to author the post-game recaps, and so after each game, I would have to make sure that the post-game recap was edited and then published and up on the website by that night. And in addition to that, I had a number of other post-game responsibilities, including delivering the official score sheets and the stat packs to the coaching staffs, along with the official score. We teamed up to do that. And so I think that in addition to meeting deadlines, another major example of me being able to do that was I was assigned the task of making sure that the Pulaski Yankees baseball card set, the official 2017 set, was ready to go by a specific date. And how I really accomplished that was we had a major homestand right before that. And I knew going in that I wasn't going to have time each day at the ballpark to a lot of time to devote to the baseball cards. So what I did is before the big homestand, when we were having office days while the team was on the road, I made sure to get that done each day, get a big chunk done each day with the pictures that were going to go on the cards, along with the statistics, along with the other duties that I had during off days, including moving inventory and things of that nature that any minor league intern does. So I think that I'm able to prioritize what's most important. I can look ahead on the calendar and see what's coming, and then know that in order to get certain things done, I need to have the big project done before the big homestand or before the next big event, so that I'll be able to devote my time to the big event while I've already taken care of what I needed to have taken care of previously. I'm confident that my biggest strength is my ability to be versatile, coupled closely with my ability to multitask. And I can think of a few examples to illustrate this, especially when I was in Pulaski. I was asked to fill in as official scorer for a number of ball games where our regular OS couldn't be there. And usually during games, I would take in-depth notes of each out and each single play so that I would have that for the post-game recap. Things that weren't reflected in the box score, such as was it a bloop single, was it a hard line drive single? That's not necessarily always reflected in the box score or the official scorer's sheet. So I would always write that stuff down, or type it rather, into my computer. But when I was official scorer, I couldn't do that. So what I had to do is between innings, when there were no pitches being thrown, I would go over to my computer and type in any notes that I thought that I would want for my post-game recap later. And so that's an example of multitasking, while also being able for me to decide what's important, which is an important skill to have. And I think another example of that is during my time as a intern at Bridgewater College. I went from being just play-by-play for baseball to PA for basketball. I operated scoreboard graphics for football. I even ended up doing some play-by-play for volleyball, soccer, as well as field hockey. So I take a lot of pride in my versatility in being able to jump from one thing to another and do it pretty successfully if I set my mind to it. I believe that my greatest weakness is my personal difficulty in being able to keep up with rapidly changing technology. Even as a young person, the stigma is that young people know technology and are familiar with all sorts of computer programs, which in some cases may be true, but I've had difficulty, especially when I went to Pulaski, learning the home base, which is the website builder that all minor league teams have to use to build for their minor league website. That was difficult for me, and I took about an entire day and I sat down in the press box and just learned that system early, even before the season started, before the team started playing games at the ballpark. But after a while, after a couple days, I really got to learn it, and maybe a third of the way through the season, I was very fast at being able to post things rapidly, edit things quickly if I noticed there was a mistake. And in addition to what I've done as an intern, I've also taken that and I've built my own WordPress site, and just learning how that software functions, I think, is beneficial, especially moving forward, because knowing how one platform does it, there may be similarities in other platforms. So I just think working with as many different web platforms as possible is something that's helping me to stay current with the changing technology.